everyone, my name is Alex, and this is my comprehensive review of the Jim Green African Ranger Barefoot boot. Wow, that was a mouthful. But you know, as an epic minimalist, this boot fits most of my criteria for I wouldn't call this a perfect boot, but a very, very good boot. First off, styling. This is a very interesting silhouette or design for a boot. You don't really see this very often because this is based on the original African Ranger boot by Jim Green, which were specifically designed for African Rangers to fit their needs. They are on the front lines of preservation. They protect the wildlife and just the general area from poachers and other dangers. And these are made to be as comfortable and durable as possible because they walk, I don't know how many miles a day, and these boots have to be extremely comfortable and extremely durable. You don't want a failure, right? When you're in the middle of nowhere and you have, God knows how many miles to go to home or wherever you're stationed at. So they have to be made extremely durable. For this particular boot, so you guys can see this is a different version than the original African Ranger boot. This is the Barefoot version, which Jim Green made in collaboration, or they consulted a popular YouTube channel, Anvil, for this specific design. So Jim Green designed the upper, and Anvil actually designed everything from the insole down. So the outsole, the midsole, everything on the bottom, even the tread pattern was all designed by Anvil, which is very, very cool. So let's talk about the height of the boot. This is not a very high boot to any standards. It's like a sneaker height. Let's see, I don't know if this is an accurate measurement, but let's see. So from the base, what would you call this? From the insole, let's just from the bottom. It's about 5 inches, right? From the bottom of the outsole to the very top of the boot. So it's 5 inches. It's like a pair of Converse, right? They're very, not very intense looking boot, right? Very inconspicuous, not like one of these Swiss combat boots, right? Those are like, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches long. So anyway, very, very cool, very incognito design, I guess. And another very cool thing about this boot is that it has a fully gusseted tongue compared to some other boots you might find out there that the tongue is only gusseted halfway or not gusseted at all. Why have a fully gusseted tongue, you may ask? Well, it is to keep the outside elements from entering into your boots, whether water, dirt, whatever's outside the boot. You don't want whatever's outside the boot getting into your boot, right? So a fully gusseted tongue will help, will actually block stuff from getting into the boot, which is a very cool design. And lastly, these have a padded collar for extra comfort when you're walking and you have your boots pretty tight, so the collar doesn't dig into your shins as much, and you know, for extra comfort and durability, right? It takes off some of the pressure points. Now I will talk about the construction of this boot. Like I mentioned earlier, and like it says on the box, these are all handmade in South Africa. If you're looking at the boot from top down, you will see the 360 stitch down construction. This is for extra durability and ease of repair. Now, the leather feels very nice, feels very premium. This is 2.2 to 2.5 millimeters of nubuck leather, which is very comfortable and very durable. Now, moving on to the inside, there is no lining whatsoever, and it's a true toe cap, meaning that there is an extra layer outside of your toes. Turning around in the back of the boot, you will see the Jim Green frog logo stitched onto the external counter cover. It's just for extra durability, and there's absolutely no fail points back there. The eyelets are on a completely separate panel than the tongue, or just than the shoe, sorry. This is for ease of repair. You know, if you rip one of them out, you can just take off this piece and get a new piece of leather, sew it on, there you go. It's not like some of the other boots where you rip one of the eyelets out and the boot's done, trash. So moving back onto the inside, it is a 3mm full grain vegetable tan leather on the inside. It shapes to your foot, and there's no synthetic materials inside touching your feet whatsoever. Everything is leather on the inside. It may take a while to break into, but it will form to your feet and it will be one of the most comfortable boots you will ever wear. Let's talk about the wide toe box. This is one of the main selling points of this particular boot. One is the minimalist zero drop design, and two is the wide toe box. And on my previous or initial review video, a lot of people were asking, they were concerned that the toe box is not wide enough for them. So let's break out the caliper. I don't know how accurate this will be, but the widest point on this boot is about 94mm. This is a size 7.5 US. I know just numbers don't really mean anything, but personally, there's more than enough room for my feet to move around in, wiggle, and splay out inside these boots. They rarely ever touch the edges unless I like roll my feet or something, but they don't touch the edges at all. Personally, there is more than enough room for me in this toe box. While we're here in the toe box, there is no toe stiffener. It's just leather and one extra layer of toe cap on the outside, which makes this not a work boot, right? I will talk about the uses for this boot later on in this video, but while we're talking about the toe, as you can see, it's very, very flimsy, very fragile, right? So don't wear this to work. Now let's talk about the zero drop sole design. I think it has recently become very popular, these minimalist zero drop style shoes. And what it basically is there's no drop. It's just flat, not like a lot of shoes. Their soles are wedge shaped. It jams your toes into the front of the shoe, and it's just very uncomfortable. And there is no arch support. So, you know, there's people arguing about the benefits and drawbacks of arch support. To me personally, I think the most natural way is the best way. So the main benefit of these zero drop shoes are just, you know, mainly for walking and light hiking depending on the shoe. It just provides your feet an optimal surface to walk on. There's no, you know, arch support or no wedges, nothing, none of that. Everything is as natural as possible. And most, if not all of these barefoot or minimalist shoes has very, very thin soles. And that is because you want to feel the ground you're walking on. So in these ones, for instance, I can feel every crack in the sidewalk. I can feel all the little pebbles. I can feel everything. So, which makes you very aware of your surrounding, what you're walking on. It makes you very conscious about walking. Another thing about this particular boot is that it does not have a steel shank like the regular African Ranger, so which makes this boot extremely flexible. You can, what kind of boot can do this? The outsole is about 8 to 9mm thick. Let's just verify that. Verified, 9mm. Well, it says 9.1 here, but my thing needs to be calibrated. But 8 to 9mm outsole, which makes it one of the thickest outsoles for barefoot shoes. It's about twice as thick as other barefoot shoes. Obviously, this outsole is designed to be as comfortable as possible over extreme durability, but the outsole is glued to a 2.5mm rubber midsole, which is this black layer you see right here, which makes this boot very, very easy to resole if you wear down the outsole, which is, you know, very good thing for one of these boots. Like, it's not just a disposable pair of shoes. You can actually go fix it up at a reputable cobbler and they'll take this outsole off and fix it. You'll have a brand new boot. Now, let me show you a cut in half picture of this boot done by Anvil in his review video. It's very, very interesting to see. You can see all of the layers that we've talked about. You can see the inside, the cross section of the soles, even though you can see it from the outside. But here's a picture of that. Enjoy and look at that. The next subject will be the fitment. Right. Fitment. In Anvil's videos, he said to buy it true to size. These fit true to size, and that's what I did. I usually buy sneakers in about US 8, but my true size is actually around 7.5. He is right with this. These are true to size. Now, there's a caveat to this true to sizeness. It's snug at the heels, but it's not squeezing, right? If you get your true size. And there's no insole, right? The insole is just veg tan leather. So if you do want to run an insole on the inside, you might want to go half size up. If you want to, for extra room, and if you want to add an insole, like I said, or if you want to wear thick socks with these, go half size up. And go a full size up if you want to go crazy and do thick insole with thick socks, you know, which kind of defeats the purpose of this shoe in boot, in my opinion. But hey, if that's what you want to do, you want to shove a thick insole in there and wear your thickest socks, go one size up. Now let's talk about the comfort of this boot. Like I demonstrated earlier, this boot is extremely flexible, which makes it very comfortable to wear. You know, it feels like not wearing a boot while wearing a boot. So there's no squished toes, there's no high heels, and there's no restricted ankle. It's very flexible, very comfortable. The material is very soft. And once you break in the insole, once it shapes to your feet, this will be one of the most comfortable boots you will wear. Now, like I always say, nothing is ever perfect. So for this particular boot, my only issue is the heel, right? On the inside, the heel counter on the inside is like this, I don't know what you would describe it. It feels like it's like suede. It's just the rough side of the leather. And when I wore this on hikes, it just teared up the back of my feet, my heel specifically. So these boots are not made for hiking whatsoever. Something along the same lines, which is for prolonged driving. Maybe it's the way that these boots are designed. It really hurts my heel once again. So these are not made for driving. Those are probably my only two issues with this boot, is just the heel comfort. Maybe I have to break it in more. I don't know. Maybe it's just the material. Maybe it's my feet. I don't know. But personally, I would not wear this hiking ever again. Now I'm going to talk about the uses for this boot, like what this boot is mainly used for. And like I said in the beginning of this video, these boots are made for walking, and mainly walking on flat surfaces. It's a great weekend boot and a great camping boot. And you know, it's easy to take on and off because of the speed hooks. Super easy. You can take it off and lace it in, you know, under a couple seconds. So very, very good in that regards. And it's not an obnoxious boot like these ones. Like, it's not as obnoxious as that one. Kind of looks like a sneaker, kind of looks like a boot. It's not like in your face type of boot, which is what I like. Like I said earlier, absolutely not for hiking on very steep terrain, not for prolonged driving, and definitely 100% not a work boot. Do not wear this to, you know, like a construction job or any kind of work, you know, because it's so soft. There's zero protection against, you know, no drop protection. I would not trust this on a work environment. So not a work boot. If you want a work boot, Jim Green makes, you know, specific work boots with a steel toe, steel shank, everything, all that. But that's a different boot. That's not this one. Now for the durability. As I mentioned earlier in the styling and construction portion of the video, the leather on this is extremely durable. Apart from the sole, which is not as durable as a regular boot, these, I would say, is like a buy it for life boot. If you compare this to an actual pair of like hardcore boots, this is kind of like a sneaker pretending to be a boot because of, you know, the thinner sole, which is, you know, the purpose of the design of this shoe is to be a minimalist barefoot zero drop shoe. You have to trade off comfort for durability in this regards. So that's one of the main drawbacks of this. But, you know, with the 360 stitch down and how the outsole is glued to a rubber midsole and glued to a or stitched down to a leather, I don't know what's above the midsole, but this is extremely easy to repair if you do wear out the soles, so I would not worry about that. Now, speaking about the durability, right? The director of Jim Green, Gareth, wore this boot for 4 months straight and took it on a 3-day walk through the African safari while wearing 44 pounds of gear. And at the end, these boots held up extremely well for him. They really put it to the test. That just, you know, shows their commitment to their products, which is extremely cool and makes, makes me trust the brand even more. And there, because there are some brands out there where, their higher ups don't know anything, or they don't even wear their own products, they don't use it. So knowing that, I think I've made a very good choice for these boots. Now for the longevity, like I said earlier, it's not the most durable boot if you compare it to like real boots, if you will. But leather, extremely nice. Leather, very comfortable, very durable compared to like your average boot. To take care of it, I use leather conditioner and a shoe brush. Just rub it in, and then I take a towel and kind of just rub it in a little more and let it sit. So that's what I do to maintain this boot. Finally, it is time for me to tell you why I bought this boot and whether if this boot is for you. I was looking for a minimalist shoe slash boot and was lucky enough to come across this boot right in time for, before the pre-orders, because they've made 600 pairs in advance for people to buy, and then after that they would have to make more of it, and the new ones would come out, ship in January of 2024, more or less. I'm very happy with this shoe. I bought this shoe because I was looking for, I already have all these Barefoot shoes. I wanted something a little more durable to take on hikes and stuff, but as it turns out, it's not as good of a hiking shoe. It's more of a walking boot. And it's not the perfect boot for all situations. That's kind of what I wanted at first. I wanted a boot that I can just wear every day for everything. Like I can go anywhere in these boots. But unfortunately, these were not it, right? Because of the trade-offs of having a minimalist sole. So there's that. And no arch support. If you're looking for arch support, if you have medical problems and need arch support, I guess you can put in an insole with arch support in it, but if you want to wear it for what this boot is, there is no arch support, so keep that in mind. And lastly, like any boot, it needs some breaking in time. So Jim Green especially mentioned that for the tongue, you need to kind of like quote unquote train the tongue, because when you put it on, the tongue wants to go in its own place, right? If there's a way that you want it folded specifically, you kind of have to like give it a hand, give it some help to train the tongue, so to say. But after breaking them in, everything will be set in place. You just have to slip them on and tie the laces. You're good to go. Finally, it is time to let you guys know the pricing and where to buy this boot. This pair of boots is $189 US. I think they offer free shipping. I'm not sure. Go check their website. It's only available on the Jim Green website, this Barefoot variant. Right now, as of December 6, 2023, they are currently taking pre-orders. So all the 600 pairs they made previously, initially, have all been sold out. And they are taking pre-orders. And they say on the website they will start shipping in January 2024. So hopefully they do that on time. And that concludes my comprehensive review of the Jim Green African Ranger Barefoot shoe. If you have any questions or have any insights into this pair of shoes, or you have any recommendations or suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and like this video or subscribe if you found it helpful and want to see more future reviews, videos of stuff. And that's about it. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
walk all over you.